Welcome to the Northern Outcast Outdoors podcast, The Outcast. Powered by A&F Custom Calls, Veteran Innovative Products. You dialed in?
I'm in.
Yep.
You ready, Mr. Collins?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, boys and squirrels, this is episode 5, correct?
That is correct.
It's episode 5. We're on the front half of another doubleheader here. We got the Mooch, Chucky, and our good friend, the King of Kentucky, the Coyote Cowboy himself, Jon Collins. What is up, my man?
Not much. How you guys doing?
We're chilly, just like you said a minute ago here.
Yeah, pretty brisk here.
So your most recent hunt, I just saw you've been stacking bodies pretty steady. I mean, you posted yesterday, I think, that you got another one.
Yeah, we had a couple of little projects going on yesterday morning, and we decided to go ahead and make a couple coyote stands while we was out. So we was able to knock one down about 6 minutes in on our first stand. So
That's incredible. I mean,
pretty
dude,
much one and done.
literally every night at work, me and Jeff work together. It seems like he's like, dude, you see Collins got another one? Or I'm like, dude, you see that video he just posted? I mean, you absolutely crush dogs down there.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys watching videos as well. It means a lot.
Oh yeah, we're big fans. I'm recently a big fan, to be honest with you. I'm not too big into what you had going on. I had no clue, but then I found out that you were part of Wired Outdoors.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I've been with Wired Outdoors probably 8 or 9 years now, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I don't know if you know Doug Gardner. He's kind of one of the
Sure. Yeah,
offsets.
I know Doug.
Yeah, I used to work for Doug.
Okay. Yeah. I know Doug well.
Yeah. I used to work for him at his tax firm, and then Jason Say and all them guys. I got to meet them at they used to be the sponsor at the Camo Care shoot that we did.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yep. And I got to meet him and Kyle, and that's a good bunch of guys right there, man. And he killed a freaking slammer this year. Jason did.
Yeah, Jason's
No kidding.
Jason's actually he's my boss man. That's who I work for. So
Yep.
yeah, I know all those guys very well.
It's a funny connection that I found out on the fly, and then I started watching your show, and dude, that quad coyote kill, holy shit!
I was just about to bring that up.
That's one of those dream stands, and that's the reason you get out and get up and go every morning when you get a chance to, just for opportunity to stand like that.
I mean, all of us have watched the video multiple times. I don't know if you want to go into a little detail about the story of that, because it was pretty wild.
Well, that particular stand, I had my good friend Corey Hager, which is the owner of Hager Custom Rifles. He's the man that makes all the rifles that I've been shooting for the last several years. I used to try to take him out on a few stands each and every year. And was actually going in to hunt that spot to try to call up a bobcat. That's a really good bobcat hole right there, as you guys saw in the video. When we pan that camera around, there's a huge thicket right off that edge of that power line cut. And usually it's money for calling a cat out there every year. And I actually keep a trail camera in there through late fall, through the winter, just to try to see if there's cats in the area. And sure enough, I had a beautiful bobcat in there, so that's what we was actually going after. But it's also a pretty good stand for coyotes, is what you guys just saw. And we always kill coyotes out there as well. But it was just kind of almost I wouldn't say a textbook stand, how everything happened. But everything unfolded just right for us. We had a coyote immediately, with like 2 minutes in, the rabbit calling, come in almost backdoored us, come in hard left, right over our left shoulder, run right up to the call. Actually, just pretty much jumped right over top of the call. Of course, it winded it. Got caught wind off the call when it got to it. But we knocked that one down right off the bat. Running away, Corey made an excellent shot. We immediately switched to pup distress sounds and run in for about a minute, and decided it was so early in the stand, so I'll just switch back to rabbit. I said, I know there's a bobcat in here. Maybe we'll keep calling. I get a coyote and a bobcat on the same stand. Switch back to rabbit, and it wasn't less than a minute later. Here comes another coyote out. We knock it down. As soon as we knocked it down, we went right back to our pup distresses, and of course here come 2 more coyotes out. They kept coming, so we kept shooting, and all the smoke cleared. We had 4 coyotes on the
I follow Corey Hagar too. I mean, the rifles he makes for you are I mean, the rifles he makes for everybody are incredible. I mean, they're works of art. I can't even call them a rifle.
They're sick, dude. I mean, every rifle he's built for me, I think I've got 4. All 4 of them are 1/4-inch guns. I mean, they're just absolute shooters. They perform, and they're pretty nice to look at too.
Oh,
good looking pieces.
That newest one he made you, what was it? The 22 Creedmoor?
I've actually 22 Creedmoors from last winter, and he actually built me another one this past season, and I actually built a bigger caliber this last time around, just mainly for big game hunting and stuff. And we built it in the 6.5 PRC.
Now, have you compared that apples to apples to a Creedmoor? Is there like a huge difference to the?
Of course, it's the same exact bullet, the 6.5, but it's the PRC is kind of the Magnum version of the Creedmoor. It's everything the Creedmoor is and a lot more. It's pretty much when the Creedmoor come out a few years ago, this is what they should have built was the PRC. So it's shooting about 250 feet per second faster than the Creedmoor is. So it's a pretty hot round.
Do you use a little bit heavier projectile than you would with a 6.5 Creedmoor?
No, I mean, you use every single round that they're using. I've been shooting 140s, 143s, and 147 grain bullets. So all of us still the same common bullets that you see from the 6.5 Creedmoor, except just quite a bit faster.
I've had my best results with the 140 grains out of my 6.5. It seemed the heavier I got, it wasn't holding that flatness like outside of 200 yards for me.
Right.
What's the effective range on that, John? Because I saw you smash that coyote at like 300 yards on the one video.
on the 6.5 PRC.
Yeah.
Oh, it's it's a legit 1,000-yard gun, which you hear about people shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor 1,000 yards, ringing steel and stuff like that. So, like I said, it's pretty much everything that the Creedmoor is, and more.
Hopefully my wife
I
doesn't
usually
listen
don't
to
use
this.
it. Is it still recording?
Yeah.
You better not be buying another one. That's pretty amazing, and it's got some knockdown power too. I mean, it just absolutely annihilates those dogs.
It does. And of course, we won't use that much, the PRC much for coyotes. We've killed a few with it just playing around, kind of getting trigger time on the gun. But the gun we're using the most is the 22 Creedmoor, and it's pretty bad news for a coyote as well.
I didn't really know that was a caliber until you post that video of it, and I was like, dude, I've never heard of a 22 Creedmoor before.
Yeah, of course, the 22 it's basically your 6.5 Creedmoor, just neck down to a 224 caliber. I'm basically shooting 80 grain 22 caliber bullet at almost the same exact speed that I was shooting a 55 grain bullet out of a 22 250.
That's silly.
I'm shooting 3,450 feet per second with an 80 grain bullet out of the 22 Creed. So it'll absolutely devastate a coyote. So
that's silly. Does that compare pretty close to like a 224 Valkyrie?
It's hotter than the Valkyrie.
Bigger cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
That's badass. I'm jealous.
You guys are outside of my language at this point.
Like the Valkyrie was pretty much 100% really designed for like AR platform rifles.
Yeah.
And of course the 22 Creed, you shoot them in boats. So you can shoot those in ARs, and it's a more well-rounded cartridge.
After I saw you shooting, I actually went online and tried to find some because I was like, dude, what is this thing he's shooting? This is wild. And then I couldn't find anything anywhere except for Corey Hagar.
Yep, the only way you can get one of those is a custom build.
Okay.
It's not a factory offering yet, but I think it'll be one of the next factory small caliber cartridge, 22 caliber cartridges that'll probably hit the mainstream market. Whenever they get the SAMI specs straightened out for that kind of stuff and start building, more companies start building ammo. And a lot of the big companies already like making brass for it. Horner already makes brass for it and stuff. So it's out there in the future, it'll be out there as a factory round, I'm sure.
If we ever make it out of this ammo shortage we're in right now.
Exactly.
Oh my God. God bless the hand loaders.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, John, if you want to give him a shout out where anybody can find his site and order a custom gun like the one you got, we might as well get that out of the way now, right? So we don't forget at the end.
Sure. I mean, best way to get in touch with him is just through Facebook, Corey Hager, or you can find him at Corey Hager on Instagram. He does have a website in development, and I think it's going to be Hager Custom. I think it's going to be HagerCustoms.com, but it's not live yet. So, but just try to get in touch with him through social media or holler at me, and I'll get you hooked up.
Awesome. Well, I want to get into the hunting aspect. I kind of want to break it down. Now, you're out of Kentucky, as we mentioned in the beginning of this one. I kind of want to know what your typical field edge setup is, because watching some of your videos, it actually surprised me. I wouldn't have set up the way you did, just as like right on the edge of a field or something. So if you want to just kind of break down your typical setup, I think that'd be cool.
I do like to call the open areas, open fields. I hunt a lot of cattle country in Kentucky, so it's more like beef cattle type country and some crop country too. You know, corn and soybeans. There really isn't what I would call a typical setup. A lot of the setups I'm doing is from scouting the areas out well. You know, I already know that there's coyotes there, either from locating coyotes at night and then going back in the next day and getting on them, or finding pictures that on trail cameras that I've had out, or talking to deer hunters that deer hunt the places, but I have access to coyote hunt, or from the landowners themselves. You know, the landowners and farmers spend more time on a particular piece of property than anybody else does. I like to keep close contact with those guys. You know, I'll ask them when I see them out, have you seen or heard any coyotes lately? If they have, I want to know exactly where they seen them, exactly where they heard them. If they saw them, I want to know, hey, do you have a good idea where that coyote came from? And if the coyote ran off, where did he go to? And all that intel can really pay off. So if I've got a particular landowner tell me they see coyotes come in and out of a particular woodlot or thicket, I'll usually wait till I get my wind right in accordance to where I want to set up. Like I said, I like to set up in the open area, so I'll crowd that thicket in the open area. I usually try to set up with a crosswind and just crowd that area as much as I can without bumping animals out of there. Get the call and get them up there and kill them. It's basically that. One way is pretty simple, and another way is pretty strategic as well. I have the comment, just like, you know, what you asked me earlier, you know, and how you get those coyotes out by open. Well, any coyote that's ever walked is going to hit an open field at some point in their life. I mean, it's not one of those deals that I'm not really doing anything groundbreaking, I guess what I'm trying to say. You can call coyotes out in the open areas. I do it every week.
Okay.
And not just in Kentucky either. You know, I hunt all across the country. You know,
yeah.
I want to get them out in the open. It's better filming for us. You know, we film a TV show, and plus you get to see the animal. It's, you know, timber calling can be extremely effective, and a lot of people do it and have a lot of luck with it. And we used to do it as well, but we kind of cut it out when we started filming. But there's still a lot of guys that do it and get it done every time they go out, basically.
Yeah. You have a lot of close encounters with your call as well. Are you ever brushing that in? I mean, if it's super open, are you ever kind of making like I noticed the one, and I don't know if it was just pure coincidence, but it seemed like you had a small brush of like grasses kind of just in front of the call from where you expected the coyote to come from.
Was that just a hunt just a few days ago, or a couple of weeks ago, released? Me and my brother killed a double?
Yep, that's right. Yeah. That's the one.
That was that's a spot that I've had scouted out, and I've learned a lot how the coyotes approach on that place, because I've been calling it for a few years. And the coyotes, every time you call a coyote up, they like to come from one certain area. Off that backside of that field is just a big hillside that leads down to a creek, and that hillside is wooded and it's thick. They have logged it like a few years ago, so it's full of treetops, and areas that opened back up grew up in briars and stuff. So it's just nasty. It's perfect habitat for predators. So I know that's where they bed up, and I set up to hunt that place accordingly. Usually always hunt that place with a crosswind, and there's just like a little divot in that field, like a little drain sort of thing in that field. You probably noticed, almost like a little V-notch. And usually I can set my call up either to the left of that little notch in the field or to the right, depending on what my crosswind is. And usually coyotes will come right down that notch. You probably heard on the video, if you watched it and was kind of listening to what we were saying, I told my brother, I said, just point your gun right there to the right of that call in that notch. Those coyotes will come out and circle to the downwind side. You won't have to move your gun. And that's exactly what he did. He never moved his gun. Coyote crawled right from his gun barrel. I howled at it to stop. It stopped. I said, kill it. He killed it. But the deal about that brush you saw there, that was a hay field. And we were set up against hay bales. And what happened when I walked out there to set the call up, I noticed a piece of a windrow of hay from back in the fall that the hay baler didn't pick up. So I purposely took my boot and just balled that up, like just scooted it with my boot, ball that wad of hay up to make it just fluffy there. And I just nudged my call right up against it. Of course, that helps blend it right in.
So I saw you switched over to the new Fox Pro. Was it the X?
I'm running the X24.
X24.
Yes.
What were you running before that?
Before the X24, I actually ran the two newer X-Wave and X2S. Son, I've got all three of those units. And then before that, the 2 years previous to that, I was running the CS24C and the Shockwave quite a bit.
Shockwave was the big one that like folded out and like two speakers. Is that the one?
Yes, sir.
How do you like the X24 compared to the newer, the older stuff? Just, I mean, it came out last year? I think last summer.
Yep. Yeah, they came out. The X2S and the X-Wave came out this past winter. We were running them this time last year. Then the X24 units rolled on out, like you said, probably early summer, late spring. I like all those units mentioned, even the CS24Cs and the Shockwaves, the older units. The Shockwave, like you said, the call that it's a 4-speaker design. It's got 2 on each side that fold out, a horn type speaker and a tweeter on each side. That call was one of the calls that's kind of ahead of its time. That thing's been out since like 2012 or 13 or something like that.
Yeah. And
it's still state of the art pretty much. It's still a favorite among a lot of predator hunters. But I absolutely love that call, and I use the CS24C a lot as well. The reason I liked the CS20, reason I would go between the CS24C and the Shockwave before was the CS24C was a 24-bit capable output collar. So all the sounds would come out with 24-bit, where every other unit out there was 16-bit. Now, my ears couldn't tell the difference between a 16-bit sound and a 24-bit sound. But I don't know that if a coyote can tell the difference or not. So I always like to run the highest quality possible. And I could run that CS24C extremely loud with howls, all your different vocals and stuff, and they perform great. Now, that's when I would mainly run that call, was when I was running vocals. And then when I was kind of switched back to where I knew I was going to be running more prey distress type sounds, like my rabbit sounds, bird distress and stuff like that, I would switch back to the Shockwave. Now, the reason I would do that is because it had the tweeters. Seemed like the tweeters, in association with the 2 larger speakers, just kind of give a more dynamic range to cover more of the high tones and low tones and in your rabbit distresses and your bird distresses. So I was kind of like one of those deals. I would run 2 different calls, but when you would see me run the CS24C, I was mainly running vocals. When you see me run a Shockwave, I was mainly running prey distress. Now with this new call, the X24 is 24-bit capable as well. But when they come out this new unit, it has a tweeter inside of it. See, those CS24C unit, it was just a horn with no tweeter. Now I've got kind of the best of both worlds.
That X24 doesn't look like it has a tweeter in it either. It kind of just looks like just a horn with
Yep, it looks just like a horn, but right there in the middle of your horn, it's got a tweeter.
Yeah, that thing's badass.
So. Jeff, what are you running?
Nice.
I got an old Firestorm. This thing's ancient, but it's still going.
Hey, I used to run a Firestorm. I've killed a ton of stuff to a Firestorm. They're good calls.
Oh yeah. Mine's got so many. It's been a little weathered, so it's starting to crackle a little bit when I get it up to 20, but it's still going. So I'm gonna run the brakes off it. Do you happen to notice like an uptick whenever you switch to the 24-bit? Did you happen to like call out more coyotes that maybe?
Probably not. That's the thing. I'm still have I have just as much success when I run the other units that are not 24-bit. So that's kind of what I was saying. I can't tell the difference, and I don't know for sure if the coyotes and bobcats can tell the difference either. But I don't know. It's just one of those things with me. The reason I run it is just, if you've got the option to run one that has a little bit better, more audio output, why not run it?
Yeah, especially in
Just sort
open
of thing.
country like you have. I mean, there's a little bit more outreach. What about for cats? I mean, is that better for cats if it's a little better quality?
Again, I don't know that they can tell difference.
Yeah.
See, like your shockwave calls, they're 16-bit. And I've killed a ton of cats with a shockwave. We've caught them with the CS24, which was 24-bit, but it doesn't have the tweeter. So I don't know. Like I said, I can't tell you that it actually makes a difference or not, but it sure does make me feel a little bit better.
Is that the one that they killed? A guy on your channel killed those two gray foxes. Was that the shockwave, or what call was that? Do you remember?
That was the X-Wave. That's the actual.
Okay.
That's like the big brother to the Shockwave. So it's kind of got the same speaker design as the X24, except it's got two of them.
Well, speaking of coyotes, man. Some German Shepherds going nuts and nuts.
But that X24 unit is the only unit that is produced currently that is 24-bit capable. And like I said, I run it just in case something can tell the difference. It might come to it to where they wouldn't come to something else. Whether that actually happens, I couldn't tell you for sure. But, why not run a little bit better quality if you have the option?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you get more sounds out of with the 24-bit? You have like a deeper library, I guess?
Well, see, Fox Pro, if you go to their site, go foxpro.com and look at their sound library, all their Mark II sounds in the sound library are 24-bit. Now, you can put those sounds on a lot of the units, the X-Waves, the X2S, the Shockwave, and several other units that you can actually put the 24-bit sounds on, but the output of the unit is 16-bit, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
But you can still
get
use
the same
those.
sound, it's just the bit difference on the output.
Gotcha, yeah.
So while
Like
we're
I
in
said,
calls,
when I'm listening to them, I can't tell the difference. But can a coyote? I don't know.
while we're on calls, John, maybe break down. I see you using a lot of cagey cottontail. I want you to break down kind of your sequence of your calling, because it seems like you're on the fly changing it a lot too, especially like after the shot. So you might switch to like a pup distress or something. Can you break that down? Kind of what your mindset is there?
Well, my mindset for sounds and sound sequences kind of changed all through the year. There's sounds that I'm running right now that I won't run come springtime and early summer. So I'm constantly, and then just the same when it comes to late summer, early fall, my sounds and sequences will change again, and then it'll change later in the fall and early winter. So I think it's one of the things you kind of got to understand what kind of pattern that the coyotes are in at the time. What kind of what part of their life they're in. It's just like the spring months and early summer through the summer months, coyotes are denning. They've got pups in the ground. They're raising their pups. So I don't hardly ever run any type of prey distresses through spring and summer months. It's all coyote vocals. It's howls, small puppy sounds, like your little bitty old whines and chirps and stuff like that you hear puppies make. And then when it gets later into the summer, I'm kind of gravitate away from the smaller puppy sounds and start using the larger, more frantic sounding sounds like the pup distress number 3 and the pup screams and stuff like that. And then come fall, I'm starting to mix in my prey distresses. So it all depends on the time of year. It'll depend on a particular stand. It really depends on a lot of stuff, but just like say a basic stand right now here in the dead of winter, here in February, a lot of coyotes throughout the country, they've slipped into the breeding season or fixing to if they have not. So they're actually responding to a lot of sounds. There's less food out there right now. So they're, like I said, they're responding to a lot. They're responding to a lot of prey distress stuff, and they're doing a lot of territorial breeding type stuff too will get them to come in. So I'm usually starting my stands off this time of year with just a little bit of prey distress. I do like cagey cottontail. What I have been running here lately is actually baby cottontail, what I've been running for the last couple of weeks. And the reason I'm running those sounds is just I'll run them at kind of like a 50% type volume for say just 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. just to see if there's something close that's hungry. Because, like I said, it's wintertime, there's less food. These coyotes are hungry. It's cold, they need more energy to get through the day. So if I can't get nothing to come to the prey distress, to the rabbit, then I'll start switching to my howls and other sounds. Because like I said, it's the breeding season. I'm running a lot of female howls. I'll usually let out a few of those howls, and then I'll sit there and wait for a couple minutes. If nothing responds to that, then I'll start mixing in female whines, female whimpers, which are all breeding type sounds. And then I'll mix in short bursts of pup distress sounds, just trying to kind of create that story out there that two coyotes have met up and they're trying to celebrate Valentine's Day coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, no pressure. I mean, we're going to put all these tactics to test tonight, and we're really trying to get one down.
Yeah, we are actually going out tonight after this.
If I was going out tonight, just like I said, I'd pick your favorite rabbit distress. I'd give it to them for a few minutes, see if something will come. If nothing comes, start giving them vocals. I'd let out some female howls, 4 or 5 howls, wait for 2 or 3 minutes, see if something's going to respond to it. If they don't, start throwing out like 30 and 45-second bursts of female whimpers and run on the backside of it, get something like pup screams or pup 3 for just about 20 or 30 seconds, and go right back to whimpers. You'll call coyotes in if they're there.
Write that down.
I wrote it down.
What are you doing?
Down here.
How long do you usually wait on a stand before you just get on to the next one?
This time of year, I will wait a little bit longer, and that's again just like what I was saying earlier when I was rambling on so much. I know it's horrible it is to me sometimes, but it depends on the time of year. This time of year is when I am making more of a longer stand, and a lot of times my longer stands are short stands for other people, so I'm usually making about a 20 to 25 minute stand through February.
How long is too long to let like a prey distress? Like if you were running your baby cottontail, how long would you let that go typically before it's like, okay, it's not realistic anymore? That seems like something we always look at each other like, dude, shut that off.
I don't know if there's any right or wrong answers to that. But me typically when I'm running prey distress sounds, I'm usually only running them 4 to 6 minutes apiece. Sometimes less, but
That's
usually
way
6
longer than
minutes
we
is
would.
the extent of it. But I'm not afraid to wait a minute. Say I run that baby cocktail for 6 minutes. Depending on the stand, I might wait for 30 seconds to a minute and then start up with a total different prey distress, like more of an adult type cottontail distress or something like that, and I'll run it for 4 to 6 minutes.
Now, will you run those back to back? Like as soon as that baby cottontail shuts off, you're switching to the other one then for another 5 minutes?
Yep. Certain stands I will.
See, that's something that I don't think we've ever done, but we also, suck at it. So.
See, that's usually my typical bobcat type stand. I'll usually run 3 to 4 different prey distresses on a bobcat stand. Usually I'm running, say for example, we were just talking about baby cottontail. I might start with a baby cottontail, run it for 4 to 6 minutes. Nothing shows up. I'll pause it for 30 to 45 seconds, maybe even a minute, and then hit, like say, adult cottontail. And I'll run it for 4 to 6 minutes out. Nothing shows up. I'll do the same thing. I'll switch it up to, say, a snowshoe hare type sound. Snowshoe hare HP from Foxhole's a good one. Do the same thing, and then I'll close with something like jackrabbit or lightning jack. And the reason I'm doing it like that, I'm actually building each sound in intensity. That baby cottontail is just that type sound. And then you switch to a adult cottontail, so it's kind of the same sound, but it's raspy. So you've built an intensity. And then I might go to a snowshoe, which is even more intense than, you see what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times what I'll find with these bobcats, we're usually calling in every single one of our bobcats in under 8 minutes, okay? So, it's one of those things people think that bobcat, you got to stay on bobcat stand for 45 minutes. That's usually not the case with the type stands I make. So usually they're showing up during that first sound, but if they're not, if they don't show up in that first sound, they almost always show up within a minute of us switching to that second sound. Why that happens, I don't know. And if they're not showing up in that first minute to that second sound, guess what? They're showing up in the first minute to the third sound. There's something about switching sounds on bobcats that might trigger them to come in.
Okay.
Usually when you switch sounds, it's that little bit of pause, that new sound starts up, it seems like they just almost run in like a coyote at those times.
That building intensity, like you're saying, gets them out of the wood line.
Yep. And if you watch any of our bobcat videos, that's another thing. We're calling these bobcats out right in the wide open. You know, I think we've killed 3 bobcats this year within feet of the call.
Oh, I remember the one video you posted. I think it was in summer. That one that came right to your left. I mean, it was like 10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had to do a 90-degree turn and blast that thing. And
Yep.
the bobcats up here, I don't know how your guys' season works down there, but like in PA, it's kind of stupid. We get like, what is it, a 2-week season?
I think it's a month, but
is it a month? But
yeah.
we have to buy this like crazy tag and go through all of these loops because PA is awesome like that.
Yep. I come up to PA a few times a year. I've never called for bobcats up there, but of course I've talked to guys up there. Yeah, I know about the short season and stuff. That hurts a little bit. You're only allowed one cat too. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, they're not as common. Like I can count on one hand how many times I've seen them in the wild myself up here.
Right.
So I don't know if it's more prevalent down your way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we actually have more cats or not. We do have a more liberal season. It comes in the Saturday after Thanksgiving and it runs all the way through the end of February.
Oh, no kidding.
Now we do have a limit. You're allowed 3 cats. We're allowed to hunt 3 cats in Kentucky. And I was lucky enough to tag out in the first month in December.
No kidding.
It's still one of those things. I usually almost tag out every year. Last 2 years I've tagged out. So I kill quite a few cats through my predator hunting life. And now you take my dad, for instance, he's 66 years old, and he's seen one bobcat his entire life. And I'm killing these bobcats off the places he's farmed for the last 50 years.
That's incredible.
So, you see what I'm saying? So, I mean,
yeah.
They're kind of secretive, and you don't really see them out there, but they're there.
The only time I ever the first time I ever saw one, I was only 12. I was hunting deer with my dad, and they got a hold of a freaking raccoon like maybe 50 yards to the right of us, and I still have nightmares about the noise that thing made when it was getting turned inside out. But
right. It's kind of crazy how secretive they are too. Just like talking about my dad, I'll kill one or something. I'll be down at the farm. He asked him if he had any luck. I said, "Yeah, a big old bobcat in the back of the truck. And I want to check it out." And we were looking at it. He said, "Where'd this cat come from?" I said, "Off such and so place back here." And he said, "What?" He said, "There ain't no bobcat. I ain't never seen a bobcat hurt." I said, "Well, that makes like the 3rd one I've killed off there in the last 4 years." And he's on the place every single day, basically his whole life. And has never seen cats on it. And I kill cats off of it every year or two. So
my buddy swears he found a den up by my camp up in the big woods. He swears by it. We were going through pushing late season for deer, and he said there were tracks all over the place going in and out.
So it's very possible. Very possible.
Yeah. That's where I saw that one. It was I was scouting turkey in, I think, March, and it like just snowed on the ground, and I just caught a flash like 200 yards up in front of me that ran across this road, and I ran up and I go, "What the hell tracks are these?" And then I took a picture. I was like, "Son of a bitch, it's a bobcat."
Bobcat, yeah.
Did I see a video of you eating a bobcat backstrap before?
Oh yeah, we've ate several bobcats. Yeah.
You are in fact the ultimate predator.
usually about all the female bobcats we kill are usually eating them. They're actually pretty good. They're very similar to the taste and texture is very similar to pork. Kind of like pork loin.
Yeah.
So it's they're definitely worth keeping the meat off of. Now, even the smaller toms and stuff, they're pretty good too. The only thing I warn you to stay away from is the bigger toms. If you ever kill a pretty good sized tom, it's up in the mid-20s or bigger. Probably ain't no sense keeping the meat on them. They kind of taste like how cat piss smells. If I'm allowed to say that type of thing.
You absolutely
You're in good
are.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are explicit.
We're a little more liberal on this podcast.
So how'd you figure that out?
How did I figure out the taste?
Yeah.
I can't tell you I know what cat piss smells like.
That's what I was wondering.
But if you know how you get a big old nose full of something, you can almost taste it.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. So.
Well, Ranella kind of made the mountain lion craze, and beaver, I guess, for that matter, too, the last couple of years. But all the Western guys, like, that's the new thing, is to eat mountain
Beaver's
lion.
good, man. You
I've
ever
heard
had
beaver, smoked beaver ham is exceptional, I hear.
Beaver is good. I've never had mountain lion, but
Yeah, they say the same thing
They
about the mountain
say
lions.
I've never had mountain lion, but from the guys I know that have, usually you find people that eat mountain lion. They've had bobcat as well, and they say it's similar.
so I've actually been told if people knew how good bobcat tasted, there'd be a hell of a lot less bobcats out there.
It's one of those things that even though a lot of people that kill them, they'll never eat one. It's kind of one of those things that's just they can't get past the thought of it, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it makes pretty good table fare.
Yeah.
That's a good story, if nothing else. Make some General Tso's chicken.
Throw a surprise at the end. Hey,
This
by
is
the way,
Free range General Tso's.
Right, that's right. Free range, exactly.
so
Wow.
kind of going back, I want to know something you mentioned about like the howls. So once you get a response, you mentioned, then you just kind of go to like the whimper, right? But what if you get one that hangs up and you can hear him, but he's just out? Because where we hunt, I mean, it's not as open. There, we might be hunting a big field, but it's really thick and brushy around the edges. A lot of plays in the hills that you might not be able to see him. How do you get him to close that distance?
Well, everything. I get a lot of questions throughout the year pertaining to stuff like that. Every situation is situational. Every stand has got its own circumstances. Whether wind direction, the lay of the land, population of predators in the area, all that stuff kind of plays a role. But, when I say for a coyote to respond to a howl, they can respond in different ways. They can either howl back, like you were just saying, or another way they respond is running in. And I'd much rather see one just come running to the howl as the howl back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I'm saying respond, I don't get a ton of vocal responses. I mean, I do. I'm not saying I don't never. But a lot of times when I'm saying have one respond, it's actually see one emerge out of the thicket or woods coming to the call. So a lot of the coyotes that I actually call in with howls do not howl back. So, it doesn't bother me too bad if I let a howl out and nothing answers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, if one does howl back, like you're asking, that's great too, because you've actually got a coyote there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So my next step all depends on how that coyote howled back to me. You kind of got to just it takes a little bit of understanding of their language. Now, I don't really know what they're saying, but it depends on how they howl back. Like if one howls back very aggressive, like he sounds like he's mad, that's when I'll usually howl back at them again, either with the same howl I've ran, or switch to another howl that's kind of aggressive sounding, and usually that can get them kind of ticked off and come in with that. They're aggressive. If they've howled back at you aggressively, it's probably their territory, and they're going to come try to run another coyote out of their territory.
Sure.
Now, if I have a coyote that howls back and it's kind of just a lazy, hey, I'm here type howl, usually I do not howl back at those coyotes. I might go back to a rabbit distress.
Okay.
Or play light volume pup distress type sound, mixing in the two. So I kind of handle them different. If I've got a lazy type howl just saying, hey, I'm over here, how you doing? I'll run some more prey distress at them and some light pup distress. And those more aggressive responses, I'll get aggressive right back with them with loud, aggressive type howls, and I'll give them pup distress as well if they don't show up. But the pup distress will be a lot louder. Fight type sounds, growls, and pup distress is at 3/4 volume or full volume as compared to 50% volume.
Okay. I have one hunt, excuse me, I have one hunt that's just like burned into my mind forever. I was out there with my dad, and of course we had no clue what we were doing. It's probably my first time ever trying to kill coyotes, and we were running the howler, and I mean there was 6 or 7, if not 8 of them just howling all back, returning, and they were kind of split up too. So if you get that situation where you have one kind of off to your left hand side, one kind of off to your right hand side, they're all howling, what's the next move there?
Well, that's kind of, it's still situational at the same time. And that's another thing going back to at the previous question. If I have a coyote that howls, the first thing I'm thinking about too, one of the first things I'm thinking about is how far off is that?
Okay.
If that coyote is howling out there at 600 or 700 yards, way out there, I'm moving. I'm getting up and trying to cut the distance, okay? Now, if that coyote's howling within 400 yards, he's close enough to come, right? So, when you get them split up left and right, that's can be tough.
Flip a coin.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you just keep, if they're both close enough to come in, you just gotta. Usually, that's when I'll probably run. It's just one of those things. You don't know if it's two different groups. You don't know if it's a breeding pair or a mating pair that's split up. That's the females on one side and the males on the other. A lot of times when it's like that, they're part of the same family group or whatever. Usually about anything can get them in. Prey distresses, like you start running rabbit distress. One coyote thinks its brother, its sibling, or its mate has caught a rabbit, so they want to run in there and have part of it too. Or if you're running your pup distresses or fight type sounds, they might think their partner or sibling is in trouble, and they come running in. So there's a lot of different things you can do, and I know I've been in the same situation myself, and I've thrown everything in a book at them, and they don't show up. And sometimes you just do something a little simple, and they both come running in. You kill both of them, and you feel like the greatest coyote hunter in the world, and you figure all the secrets out. You know what I mean? It's just coyote. If I knew everything about coyotes, it'd make my job a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, man. It's just I do a lot of rambling on. You guys have probably figured that out for now about coyote, because that's usually the way my mind's working when I'm on coyote stands too. It's just rambling. Hey, should I do this? Should I do that? I second guess myself constantly as well, and just gotta try to find certain things that work in certain situations. But yeah, I've been there too, and I don't really think there's any right or wrong answer at that. Usually my first deal is to throw a prey distress out there, and hopefully something comes to it. If nothing, then I'll start using the pup stuff and some fights and growls, and keep going back to the pups, and just hopefully they one of the deals triggers them.
Yeah, I actually had 2 coyotes come in on my trail camera last night at about 1 in the morning. Went right in front, so hopefully we can get on them tonight. I mean, they're probably. I've had pictures in the last couple weeks of them. It looks like they're doing mating stuff, but I honestly have no clue.
Well, it's time. It's
Okay.
time. So yeah.
Well, we're in it then tonight, boys.
Yeah, we got to go out at night and do Navy SEAL shit, and you just shoot them in broad daylight every day.
The broad daylight makes for better
It
video
does,
too.
man. I mean, we do have night vision on ours, but we're yet to get one on camera at night. We got some pretty wild stuff though on the night vision. The one
Really?
night, some of the sounds we got. We had a pack. This was how many summers ago was that, Jeff? Was that last summer or
2
the summer?
summers, maybe?
We had we were hunting a cattle farm. It was beef cattle,
Yeah.
and we got down between the 2 pastures, and we were just being idiots and had one calling across the road. So he hit a howl right there, and this whole pack I mean, it sounded creepier because you're watching on night vision. And Jeff turned around, and it sounded like a body was getting exercised in the tree line over there. And I grabbed my pistol and put the camera down.
Right.
But that was it.
Ready for the worst.
Well, after they made that noise, I mean, they couldn't have been 20 yards from us, just inside the trees, and then that was it. Never heard them again.
Yeah.
Might have caught your scent.
Yeah, it was pretty freaky though.
Speaking of scent,
that hurts, don't it? When you don't have them that close and you still don't get a shot opportunity when that stuff happens.
I wasn't even sure if it was a coyote still at that point. The noise that it made, because me and him looked at each other like, "What the fuck?"
could have been a raccoon, man. I've heard them make some crazy noises too.
Oh, there was
They do.
5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
It was wild.
So I see you wearing a lot of carbon layered scent control stuff when you're out there. That's a big regiment for you whenever you're going out and hunting predators?
No, I mean, usually the reason I'm wearing those clothes is it's I wear a lot of blocker outdoors clothing now. It's mainly because I like the fit of it.
Okay.
It's not the scent control part of it. It's not that I don't pay attention to scent control. I don't want to go out there smelling all nasty or nothing. But I'm just 100% hunting the wind in my face or hunting crosswind.
Okay.
No matter what, you just can't fool a coyote's nose. So the way I go in the stands is basically I just want to make sure my wind's not blowing from me to where I think a coyote's at. and I want to be able to shoot wherever my downwind is. I want to be able to, if a coyote circles that way, I just want to be able to get him killed before he gets there. So basically, I wore scent lock stuff too in the past. It's usually it's because I like the fit. I really really enjoy their clothing. It fit me just right, and the stuff's tough. I make a lot of stands throughout the year, so I need something that can hold up. Do a lot of traveling, so I spend a lot of days out there hunting. So I just need something that can keep up with me and last, and that's the clothing that I just wear just because it fits the bill.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of the same way. I've switched out.
Yeah.
I used to be like guru on scent control, and lately I've more or less switched out for comfort rather than scent because it.
And that's the thing too. That's how I got to running or wearing scent lock and stuff, is because I'm a deer hunter as well. Love to deer hunt. Deer hunted several states, and I am a scent freak when it comes to whitetail hunting. Because especially when you're bow hunting, you get coyote, you get deer in close. They can, if you don't practice scent control, a deer will smell you even with the wind in your favor. You know what I mean? So you gotta take care of your scent control while you're deer hunting. And plus, deer kind of react a little bit different to scent. You can have a wind swirl with a deer coming in range. With proper scent control, you can get away with a few extra seconds. It might make the difference you killing that deer or not killing it. So that's kind of how I got started wearing scent lock and blocker and stuff. And then I like the fit and durability of it so well, I just never switched out of it. Just wear it for everything.
Yeah, we were talking about coyotes, but you do shoot some donkey whitetails, and you do smash the turkeys too, for sure.
Yeah, it's seems like I'm more known as a predator hunter.
Oh yeah.
When people ask me, I'm just a hunter. I like going after all of it. So really enjoy being outdoors.
Yeah. One thing that impressed me on your videos too was how many, and I would have never thought of this, but how many like doubles and triples, and after you shoot the first one, you just keep calling, and sure enough, another one just shows up. Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of that goes into that amazing custom rifle you have with the suppressed, but also I would have never thought to do that. Like, I would have probably just jumped up and went after it. But
right.
How long really are you sitting there after the fact, or is it just playing it by property? If there's a pretty high population of coyotes, or is it time of year too?
Yeah, well, again, going back to what I said earlier, I've said multiple times is every stand's situational. But I learned a long time ago, earlier in my predator calling life, just like what you said, I'd call a coyote up, kill it. I'd be woohooing and high-fiving my buddy or cousin or myself, celebrating. And next thing I know, I'm looking up there and there's a daggone coyote running away. Or I'm walking out there to get the call, or walking out there to meet up with the coyote that was coming. And I'm like, dang, why in the world? Why don't I sit there and keep calling? And so that's kind of just how that, hopefully you're calling in multiples at the same time. You're seeing 2 or 3 coyotes run in all together. Then it's simple. You got more coyotes to keep calling too. But if I call a coyote up, and it don't matter what time of year it is, that when I shoot it, the stand's still not over. I'm still thinking, hey, there's probably another coyote in here, or there's another 2 coyotes in here. Especially this time of year when there's a lot of coyotes that's mated up, paired up. If you call a single in, you better keep calling, because you're probably going to be calling a second one out.
Okay.
Same thing for the fall months, say like November, especially October, November, December. A lot of times when you're calling, the coyotes you're calling in, especially if it's like you called in kind of a younger type coyote, keep calling, because that coyote's part of a family group. Just right there inside the wood line might be its siblings, brothers and sisters who's all still clinging together, and maybe mommy and daddy with them too. So it's always an opportunity. Just like that quad we killed the other day, what that was is a family group. Okay. All those coyotes were siblings. There was one big male in the group. I think he was probably their dad, and the rest of them are brothers and sisters.
Yeah, just like that 5 that came in too on the one video.
Exactly. That was a family group of coyotes. What that probably was mommy and daddy and 3 3 yearlings, probably is what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another badass video too. They're just hopping through the field there.
I like the one that went down and crashed in the creek, and you see the water
Yeah,
splash up.
Did the swan dive in the creek?
Nose first. Boom.
I don't know if is our Fox Pro one of the ones that like if you shoot, it picks up the gunshot and it'll like automatically do the
it'll
pup
switch.
distress. Yeah.
Okay, see, that's what I was wondering because I noticed in his videos a lot after the shot, it seems like it goes to either pup distress or cagey cottontail, and it gets louder. I don't know if that's, something that
It's
happens.
usually just that's just me keeping my hand on the call.
That's what I figured.
I actually don't run the Fox Bang on my units, and the reason I don't run it is because I shoot suppressed, and the suppressor, when you shoot suppressed, it won't make the Fox Bang go off. That that bang, that percussion right there at the remote
Doesn't hit the
is not there
frequency.
to make it trigger. So
Okay.
I just keep it turned off because I don't need it. You know what I mean? Because it's not going to go off anyway. So I just keep my fingers. I've always got the remote in my hand,
Yeah.
either my left or right hand. So I can always switch right on the fly with whatever the situation, whatever needs to be, whether it's switching to pup distress or ramping volume up or down or what have you. So
And you're setting those like preset before you go into the hunt. You kind of have them in
Yep.
mind. Okay.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah, I actually got usually what I'm running on presets is three different pup distresses and a howl. And usually the reason I keep a howl on there is a lot of times you've got a coyote that's moving away from you. He's not spooked running hard that you think might be able to get stopped. That might not stop with your pup distresses. A lot of times you get that preset for some sort of howl. Like I'm usually keeping like female yodel howls or female soar howls. A lot of times you can reach over and hit that preset for a howl and get the howl, and that coyote will turn around and look for you get a few seconds for a shot.
Yeah, I've noticed your mouth howl too to stop
Yep.
them sometimes, and it seems to work
Yep.
pretty well. I would never thought to do that. Just yell at them.
Yeah.
You used to run a
Just
dive.
kind of sometimes in frantic situations you let out all kinds of sounds trying to get the coyote to stop.
You used to run a diaphragm call with your electronic call, right?
I still do. That's actually when I'm howling this time of year. A lot of times I'm doing that just because coyotes. A lot of coyotes are paired up, so a lot of times I'll let out 2 or 3 howls on my diaphragm, and then almost cut myself off howling back with the Fox Pro.
That's a good call.
That's badass.
Yeah.
I broke my
A
diaphragm
lot
call.
of times, what you realize this time of year, when coyotes do come to the house here in my area, anyway, it's kind of like this wherever I do hunt. During this time frame, a lot of times the coyote that's showing up, especially if you're just calling in singles, it's usually a female. And I don't know what the reason is, but I've always kind of figured it must be a female that's coming in to run another female out of her area so it doesn't get bred.
Like a territorial, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was like lions. The females do all the hunting.
Right. Well, I'm sure that could be the thing too. I don't know for sure.
Oh, I have no clue. I'm just talking out my ass.
The couple guys that I know up here that run dogs for coyotes, they all say the females are the meaner. Like when the dogs like get bait up and stuff,
doubt.
they say the females are definitely the meaner, like the more aggressive of the two for sure. I don't know if that's a fact down there or if they're just crazy hillbillies up here like we are. But
Yeah.
they
Have you ever
all say-
ran them with dogs, John?
I've not, but I have done summer decoy dog hunting. I don't know if y'all ever watched any of our videos.
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that. We usually do it in Kansas. We usually take like Catahoula dogs out, just 1 or 2. I got a good buddy named Jeff Ryder, who kind of one of the pioneers in decoy dogging. You're still calling coyotes in, but we'll call coyotes in, and the dog will kind of engage them. It's kind of just like a cat and mouse. Hey, I'm going to chase you off for a few yards, and I want to run back, and the coyotes chase them type thing. And Jeff's got his dogs trained on the collar, so the dog will go out and engage the coyotes, and then he'll tone them back with his collar, and the dog will come running back up to us and usually drag the coyotes within feet of us.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've seen those videos. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, and usually it only works. It only works through the summer months, through the denning months when they've got pups.
Okay.
What it is they're just trying to keep. They're wanting to keep those dogs out of their area where their pups are at. That's what it is. So it's kind of just a territorial thing. trying to, bluff them to get them to run off. But of course, you still got to call them in at first, and
Right.
just like we was talking about earlier about different sounds, different times of year. It's what we're calling them in on is small puppy sounds and stuff. And they've got a pretty big paternal instinct. If they're part of a den, they hear pups somewhere like that crying, they're going to run in and see what's going on. If they run in and see another dog there, another canine, there's usually some sort of fight or bluffing trying to get them to run out. There's some pretty cool interactions you usually get to see. It's fun, huh?
Yeah, it was wild. The night that I went with them, we had 3 dogs in the woods, and the female had, I think, 4 or 5 pups. We couldn't see them, but we could hear them.
Mm-hmm.
And the female actually ran the dogs away from the pups and drew the dogs off of them. And then it was actually like kind of wild. I was like, wow, these things are like smarter than I think you realize. Like when they do crap
Right.
like that,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing too when you run them with the dogs. I mean, in open field or anytime you get in the open, those dogs will run the coyotes down. But as soon as the
Really?
coyotes get inside the wood line, they just have so much of a better wood sense about them. They can get away from
Right,
those dogs,
right.
and they can trick them a lot quicker and a lot easier. Because mostly they're going up and over and through blowdowns where those dogs are clumsy. But you get in open field,
Right.
I mean, those dogs can run them down. I've seen them almost
Yeah.
kill them, getting tumbles,
Yeah.
and it's freaking exciting, man. That is fun
Yeah.
shit.
yeah, that was one of the wildest hunts I've ever been on. I mean, you're running through the woods in pitch black with, rifles and, dogs are going nut. People are, they're over here.
Yeah, we did it in
Wow.
the daytime, and it was still a blast just to see them interact and chase them, and then they get
Yeah.
bait up, and those dogs get pretty tore up, but man, they love it. And for as small as they are, they're beefy, and
Oh, yeah, some of those ones are mean as hell, too.
they're really built like chesty.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's cool. It's a lot of fun though, man. That's a different way of doing it. I like to do both. I like calling
Right.
them, but we've had a lot more success, obviously, running with dogs because all you got to do
Right,
then is
right.
catch a track and put them on and let them
Yeah,
loose.
you let the dogs get out there and do all the work. Like you
Yep.
said, it's hard for them to stay away from the dogs. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, especially good dogs. But
Well, we're right about an hour, John. I don't know if you want to give some shout outs to some sponsors or obviously a shout out to your YouTube channel, Tooth and Claw, or what you
Sure.
got here, like for 2021 planned here, if you want to give us a little skinny here.
yeah,
yeah, I mean, definitely, I've got a great group of sponsors. We talked about Fox Pro earlier. Those guys right up here in Pennsylvania. Right there in Lewistown, Pennsylvania. They are American-made Predator calls, and they're excellent.
that's cool
Excellent.
country, right?
Excellent company to work with. That's a family-owned company too. You don't see it a lot in the outdoor business anymore. So, big shout out to Fox Pro. Shout out to Fox Pro. Just I couldn't do my job without them. I mean, Carls do everything I need them to do, and then some. So, big shout out to Fox Pro. Of course, you talk about Corey Hager. Excellent. If you're looking for a custom rifle, give him a shout.
I love following him on Instagram.
Oh man, great stuff. Shoot Swagger bipods. It's you're looking for a good versatile bipod. You cannot beat Swagger. Go check them out. That's another American-made company. They're actually made right here in Lexington, Kentucky. USA made. Just a lot of great companies I work with. And as far as 2021 goes, I'm going to keep grinding, guys. I mean, got a lot of hunting left. in
Stack
Kentucky.
bodies, baby.
We're going to be traveling out to Kansas and Oklahoma, probably up Idaho and Oregon, back down to Wyoming, and then go probably down here in the Southwest somewhere, a little bit of Arizona
Hot
and New Mexico for 2021. So we're going to stay after them, boys.
That's
Nice.
awesome, man. I'm jealous.
Yeah. What's your favorite time of year to hunt them? By curiosity.
I like November, December, January the best. Just because you can get into those family group coyotes like we was talking about these videos
Yeah.
where we're killing quads and stuff like that. And plus, you ain't got to worry about the nasty summer weather and bees sweating and sugars chewing on your ankles and snakes
bugs.
biting you in the hind end. All that kind of stuff. So I like those late fall, early winter months
Yeah.
is my favorite times.
Well, we appreciate the hell out of you, John. I really I gained a lot out of this.
This is by far our most informational, probably going to be our most informational for a while here.
I'll find myself listening to this one 3 or 4 times, taking notes, and
Well, maybe we can do it again sometime, and I can drink less coffee and cut out some of the rambling and get straight to the point.
Hey, if
Like
you
I
don't
said, a lot
ramble,
of times
Chucky
that's
will.
That's what's usually going through my head, so that's what's coming out.
Yeah, we'll switch that coffee out for some good bourbon, and we'll go from there.
It'll be much less informational.
You probably get some better information that way. Probably more entertaining.
Well, if you're ever up in Pennsylvania, man, stop by. We're here.
Yes, sir.
I'll do it, buddy.
All right, man, we appreciate you coming on, guys. Like you said, check out Jon's sponsors. Check us out on every major podcast app, YouTube, Instagram at Northern Outcast. Check out our buddy Jon Collins, and your YouTube channel is what, Tooth and Claw, correct?
You got Tooth and Claw TV YouTube channel and Wired Outdoors TV YouTube channel. And plus, you can watch us on Amazon Fire, Amazon Prime, Roku, and Waypoint TV.
Hell yeah, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. As always, like and subscribe and check everybody out, and we'll see you when we see you.
Stay the course.
Stay the course.